Hero Safari, the 10-year contract story, episode 3. The echo of the Bloodline's secret first unseen stain strike. The agreement was spread on the table, its harsh stipulation shining in the ink like a sword poised to cut. Sabari gazed at it, his brain conflicted between Swapna's tears and the trap inscribed at the page's end. Daruva pushed his glasses up, his voice cutting. Sabari, I've worked on every version of this contract since the beginning. This sentence. It was never there. Someone inserted it afterward. Sabari's face clenched. Who? Daruva shook his head. That's what we need to determine. The phrasing style, it's legal language, but not mine. Not formal. Someone who had access from within corrupted it. Swapna's expression turned hard, her tears solidifying into steel. Then we already know where to start looking. My family. Sabari swung towards her, his anger blinding again. So it was always about them. You brought me into this war. Made me give up 10 years of my life, and now I learned they had planned to keep me in chains forever. Swapna looked at him. Her voice was bitter, low. You think I didn't suffer as well? Day after day, Sabari, I've had wars you never knew about. I believed 10 years would have brought us liberty. But apparently, someone has you in mind for being stuck for life. Which means. She left it hanging. Her face grew somber. You mean more to them than you know. Sabari's chest tightened. More important. He had always seen himself as the expendable one, the desperate brother who signed away his life. Why would her powerful family want him specifically bound forever? Daruva flipped through the pages again, his finger stopping at a signature. Look here. This wasn't in the original set. A counter signature, from Rajan. Swapna's face drained of color at the name. Rajan. Sabari frowned. Who is he? Her tone was cutting, stinging with ancient wounds. My uncle. The vulture who has been waiting over my father's empire since the moment I was born. If anyone had cause to dig our graves and bury us in chains, it's him. Sabari's hands curled into fists. Then he's the one who stole a decade from me. Dhruva's tone dropped. Not just 10 years, Sabari. If Rajan's clause had gone unnoticed, you'd have signed yourself into a lifetime of servitude. No escape. Ever. The words struck like thunder. For a moment, the room fell into silence, each of them lost in the weight of the revelation. Sabari looked at Swapna, his voice rough with emotion. Why me, Swapna? Why would they want me tied to you for all eternity? What do I have to do with your family? Swapna's eyes flashed, fear sparking in their depths. For once, she was speechless. The storm raging outside boomed with lightning, as if the skies themselves laughed at the question dangling in the air. The storm outside had not abated. Rain slammed against the windows as if threatening what was to come. Inside, the mood was darker still. Sabari, Swapna, and Daruva sat in silence, the presence of Rajan's name weighing down like an unseen hand on their throats. Then, the telephone rang. Swapna stiffened. She looked at the number on the screen, unknown, yet disturbingly intentional. With a nervous breath, she picked up. A gravelly voice, slow and venomous. 10 years, Swapna. 10 years I witnessed you and your tiny husband playing at house. Did you expect the contract to set you free? Her blood turned icy. Rajan. Sabari's jaw clenched at the mention of the name. He leaned forward, his ears straining. That man you bound to you, Rajan went on, his voice oily. You think he was your protection. But he is my unlock. You can tear the paper, Swapna, but the game is already won. Sabari is not free. He never was. Sabari snatched the phone from her fingers. If you wanted me, you could have crushed me years ago. Why wait? Why use papers and regulations for cover? Rajan's laughter was low, savage. Because, boy, you don't even know what you are. The blood in your veins belongs to me as much as you. You've lived a life for 10 years. When the truth comes out, you'll beg for the chains you're trying to break. The line went dead. There was silence afterwards, stifling. Swapna's hands trembled, the phone almost dropping from her hand. Dhruva's face had paled, Rajan's words sinking in like venom in the air. Sabari stood frozen on the spot, his head spinning. Blood in your veins is mine. He turned to Swapna, his tone hard, commanding. What did he say? What blood? What truth? Swapna's lips quivered, but nothing emerged. For the first time, her silence was not defiance, it was terror. Daruva snapped the contract file shut, his voice serious. Sabari, this is no longer about documents. Rajan is playing with pieces we cannot yet see. And from what I just overheard, you're not a pawn. You're the focal point of his game. Lightning ripped the sky outside apart, illuminating the terror spread over Swapna's face. And Sabari knew, with a queasy certainty, that the 10 years he believed were lost were merely the prologue to something much more sinister. The evening seemed to drag on forever. Sleep was a luxury no one was willing to risk. Sabari paced the corridor like a trapped beast, Rajan's words ringing endlessly in his mind. The blood in your veins belongs to me. In the early morning, Daruva caught him gazing out of the window, fists bunched. Sabari, he murmured, Rajan doesn't fling words into the air. If he said it, there has to be meaning. We must know, from Swapna. Sabari turned, his eyes blazing with the sting of betrayal. She has kept things from me, Daruva. For 10 years. I have believed I was only her captive in this agreement. But now, what if I was both her shield? Or perhaps worse, her offering? Swapna stood in the doorway. Her face was white, lacking vitality. She held a small, padlocked box in her hands. Without speaking, she placed it on the table. The click of the lock opening sounded louder than the thunder outside. Inside lay old letters, yellowed photographs, and one sealed envelope with Sabari's name written in a trembling hand. Sabari picked it up with shaking fingers. Who wrote this? Swapna's voice cracked. Your mother. The room went still. Sabari tore open the envelope. The letter inside was short, but every word carved into him. Sabari, if you are reading this, it means Rajan has come to you. You are my biggest mistake and my biggest love. He is not only your enemy, he is your blood. Guard yourself. The agreement was the only way I could keep you safe for a decade. Forgive me. Sabari's heart froze. His voice cracked. Rajan, my blood. My brother. Swapna's tears overflowed. Half-brother. His mother had him in her first marriage, before she met your father. He never thought she left him for anything more than life itself. His anger intensified. When you were born, you represented everything he lost. He had vowed to destroy you, to steal 10 years of your life, to make you hurt the way he hurt. The world revolved around Sabari. All that sacrifice over the years, the quiet, the pact, it was not a snare, but a shield hammered out of desperation. Before he could say anything, Dhruva's phone jolted viciously. A message, with a photo. His face turned white. He held the screen in front of Sabari. It was Kavya and her kids, bound to chairs, terror on their faces. One line blazed under the photo. If you desire your family, Sabari, come to me. Alone. Sabari's knees gave way. The reality had fallen upon him, but Rajan had already delivered the first brutal blow. And this time, freedom would be paid for in more than the cancellation of a contract. Hero Safari, the 10-year contract story, episode 4 to be continued.